Last time, we took kind of a detour and covered what happened with Raditz and Nappa, since they are still alive. And thankfully, they survived the last part, even though they came close to death by facing Frieza. But now it seems they've finally met Vegeta and Goku again. Now that they've been located, what's going to happen from here on out? We'll be covering all that and more in this part 10 of What If Vegeta Hit His Head. Here, there's a lot of exposition between them. A lot of years have passed, so Vegeta kind of explains everything that went down on Earth, with Raditz and Nappa giving their story too. Also, Goku and Vegeta learn about Granola's story too. What's most surprising to Granola is the fact that these two Saiyans seem completely unlike the Saiyans that he's with. Obviously, Raditz and Nappa are weird enough by Saiyan standards right now. But then there's these two who actually seem like pretty great guys. And he has heard about Vegeta too from Raditz and Nappa. I mean, he used to be the prince, and now he's whatever he is now. Basically a Saiyan calling Earth his home. Although, they can't stay for too long. Whis was their transport there, and he's still waiting there. He said he'd take them to fight Frieza, but didn't say he'd stick around for them to chit-chat. So, looks like they're gonna have to leave now. But they wrap up the conversation. Nappa says it seemed like Vegeta really is the same person that he was when they left Earth a while ago. And Vegeta says he's grown as a person, but definitely isn't back to his old self. Although he can say that Nappa and Raditz, they definitely have changed. They still have their same personalities, but in terms of what they do, and he guesses to an extent their morality, they have kind of developed into different people. Which is good to see. And Nappa jokes. He says they haven't grown as soft as he has, but Vegeta says he isn't soft at all. Actually the opposite. Before they go, he's going to show off his brand new power, Super Saiyan God. The form he used to defeat Frieza. Raditz, Nappa, and Granola can't even sense it. They just feel the insane pressure from it. And Vegeta says he can go beyond that too, then showing off a new form that he didn't even have to use against Frieza, Super Saiyan Blue. And Vegeta jokes a bit too. That wish Granola made must have been pretty strong, but if only he waited a little bit longer, he could have surpassed this level. Because of how early he made the wish, he instantly got usurped by Vegeta, and even Goku, because Vegeta mentions he has the same powers as well, even though Goku's a little bit behind him. Vegeta powers down. He noticed the two had Super Saiyan 2, which is impressive considering they had no clue how to get it, or what Super Saiyan even was. And for now it seems like they live on planet Cereal, but Vegeta welcomes them to come back to Earth if they ever want to. But they turn it down. They like where they are. They will visit sometime though. They do have to fight against Vegeta, and Raditz especially wants to fight his younger brother. And he chuckles, smirking as he sticks a hand out towards his brother. These low-class brothers, they've grown so powerful. Who would have thought they would make it this far? Goku obviously doesn't care about all that Saiyan class stuff, but it seems to make Raditz happy, and he just shakes his hand. Mainly he's just glad that the both of them are powerful, and Raditz wonders how their father would react if he saw the two of them now. Whis takes Goku and Vegeta back to Beerus' planet, with the other two Saiyans and Granola left dumbfounded. So, those two have ascended to the level of gods now, training under the god of destruction. Raditz and Nappa have vague knowledge of him, and Granola has no idea of who he is, but the name alone, it sounds pretty terrifying. Well, at least for Raditz and Nappa, they will continue growing stronger, and besides, they're on a Frieza Force base right now. They could take so many resources from here, you know, those healing pods and all, and maybe some spaceships too. It could be really awesome. To the victor goes the spoils after all. It's about time they got some new spaceships, and the three prepare to loot the base. Some time passes in between this. Goku and Vegeta practice more with their Super Saiyan Blue form. When Vegeta fought Frieza, they only just accessed it. Of course, he didn't actually need to use it against Frieza, but he didn't really have a great control in it anyways, so it's kind of good that he didn't need to. Thankfully, Frieza had some serious problems with his golden form that he couldn't control, making the fight a lot smoother for Vegeta. The Universe 6 tournament is eventually planned though, and Goku and Vegeta immediately have a team in mind, or at least a few options for the team. They could get Krillin, Gohan, and Trunks, but they're not quite sure. Krillin's strong, and he is the strongest human here. Plus, all the humans are actually way stronger than they were normally because of what happened back a few parts ago. Gohan and Trunks are definitely powerful too, but the two of them have their own responsibilities. And they almost do ask those two to go, but instead, they have a better idea. What about asking Raditz, Nappa, and that Cerealian? Vegeta's the one to suggest this. I mean, it would be a great opportunity to see how strong they've truly grown. They should be powerful enough. I mean, those two have Super Saiyan 2, and Granola is apparently stronger than them. Those three would be a good option for their team, and it could be interesting to see how they fight. They seek out that group of three again, going to Planet Cereal, and the three of them decide to join the tournament. Raditz and Nappa would love a good fight, especially something that's not crazy high stakes, although it kind of is because the prize is the Super Dragon Balls. So this decides the team, and of course they really get a kick out of seeing Kappa there. There's 4 Saiyans on the Universe 7 team, seeing that there's another Saiyan from that universe. With Raditz and Nappa prying for info, trying to figure out anything they can about Planet Sadala and the Universe 6 Saiyans, wondering how strong that guy is. The team decides in order. Goku and Vegeta do want to fight, but knowing that they're the strongest of the group, it might be the best to save them for the end. But how about this? They're going to put Granola up first. Wondering how that guy fights because apparently Raditz and Nappa say he has a pretty unique fighting style. Well, whatever, yeah, they go for that. They all play rock, paper, scissors to decide the next order. And the lineup ends up being this: Granola, Nappa, Vegeta, Raditz, and Goku. Which really bums Goku out. He doubts he'll even get a chance to fight, especially with Vegeta before him. And Raditz knows exactly how his brother feels. The fights are pretty easy though. Granola is able to defeat Batama pretty quickly, and when he's up against Frost, he automatically assumes the guy's like Frieza. And of course he pretends to be a good guy, but he's definitely not a good guy. Especially because with Granola's amazing eyesight, he's easily able to see that he's hiding a needle in his arm. Which tells Granola that this guy is exactly like Frieza. He's trying to poison people in the ring. But he doesn't even mention it. He just happily eliminates Frost from the ring, and then after the fact mentions that he saw it. So he humiliated Frost, and then destroyed his reputation too. Which is very satisfying for him because he never really got to defeat Frieza in his universe. Next he faces Vegeta, and this is something that he actually might have an issue with. He doesn't know about Vegeta's weakness, and in terms of trying to locate a weak point from Vegeta, that's not going to happen. Vegeta actually does defeat Granola here, with Nappa going up next. And Nappa's kind of concerned because this Vegeta guy seems strong. It looks like he can take any attack that they throw at him. But Nappa's naturally a more crass guy and just accidentally lets an insult slip out. So without even really having to fight, Vegeta's eliminated, which Nappa kind of gets a kick out of. And he gets even more of a kick out of fighting Cabba next. Unlike Vegeta though, he's not going to show Cabba how to go Super Saiyan. He's just surprised that he doesn't know about Super Saiyan. Alright, well, he'll give himself a handicap. The two of them will just fight in their base forms. Although he tells Cabba that he wants to learn more about Sadala later. Raditz would love to as well. Nappa defeats Cabba. And I just noticed by complete coincidence, these two are both named after cabbage. So kind of fitting for the fight. They essentially are named after the same thing. Anyways, Nappa's up against Hit next. And even with how strong Nappa is here, obviously he's going to lose against Hit. But with Vegeta up next, he's actually able to work out a great strategy against Hit. Vegeta's not only incredibly powerful here, but he's incredibly smart as a fighter. He has the great strategic knowledge he had when he was part of the Frieza Force, since it just came naturally to him, and he's a master martial artist too. He's a mastermind in military strategy and in martial arts strategy. And with him being so strong too, all these factors combined together probably would allow him to defeat Hit. He'd probably even employ the God to Blue switch here somehow, just like Goku did in the manga. And this is one of the many examples of how great of a fighter Vegeta is here. Of course, the actual Vegeta in the main story is a great fighter too. But with this Vegeta, I'd say he's even above that. Not just in terms of pure strength, but just pure knowledge too. He was open to so many other kinds of training now being on Earth, and being good from the get-go, having grown alongside Goku as a fighter, training under all these different masters and having a completely different fighting style. And while Universe 7 did win the tournament, Raditz and Goku are really bummed out. Just like they thought they didn't even get a chance to fight. Whatever, they'll get another opportunity. Especially since Zeno showed up and said that eventually he wants to do another tournament. Which we're going to see relatively soon, because next we go into the Vegeta Black arc. Due to events in another timeline, Zamasu ends up stealing Vegeta's body, but it only happens in that timeline where he's from. However, he does go to the timeline where Trunks, Gohan, and Goten are from. The future versions at least. They're the ones who mess with time, and they're the ones who are going to pay for it. Although, it's not going to be nearly as easy for him because he's facing so many more people. If you remember back from before, there's way more fighters in this timeline than there were in the main story. Including future Vegeta. In the actual story, it's just future Trunks facing off against Goku Black. And while Vegeta Black would probably be a little bit stronger here, if he attacks without full access to his power yet, that's going to be a very huge issue. He starts his attack against future Vegeta, future Trunks, future Gohan, and future Goten, knowing the latter three mess with time, and with Vegeta being the ringleader of all of them essentially. Future Vegeta sees this spitting image of himself. This future Vegeta is obviously way older than the normal Vegeta that we know, because of how far ahead the future timeline is. But he's still in his prime, he hasn't rapidly aged and he's not even really close to it yet. He has so many years of experience, and a ton of power too. And there's another big thing that Vegeta Black doesn't account for. This Vegeta has access to godly powers. Shin in this timeline never died, and eventually Beerus did have a premonition about a Super Saiyan God, going to Earth and seeking out Vegeta, and thankfully they actually did have enough Saiyans for the Super Saiyan God ritual. They've lived pretty great lives so far, and even though Goku's gone, everyone else is fine. This ritual was performed with Gohan, Trunks, Goten, Bra, and Pan, lending power to Vegeta, letting him become the first Super Saiyan God here, with him eventually even training with Beerus too. And they have a multitude of ways to defeat Vegeta Black here. The hybrids did eventually learn fusion too. Gohan and Trunks even want to fuse against this guy, they want to use it in an actual battle for once. But Vegeta tells them to let him handle this. Vegeta Black is surprised to see them being so cocky. But with Vegeta recognizing how big of a threat this is to his timeline, especially with this guy stealing his body and being his doppelganger, he's not going to let it slide. He immediately showcases Super Saiyan Blue against Vegeta Black, surprising him to see him use that same exact power. And Vegeta Black is instantly defeated. But Zamasu is still an issue, and even though he's immortal, they're still able to deal with him pretty easily. There's more than enough people fighting against him to hold him off, and at least subdue him to an extent. They basically stall for time right now, trying to prevent him from leaving, because not too long after, Beerus shows up to help, and Vegeta tells him everything that's gone down, and Beerus is rightfully pissed off. And knowing that this guy's immortal too, he's gonna have to think outside the box. Thankfully he could steal people away, which is exactly what he does to Zamasu. So, this arc is completely avoided. Everyone in the future timeline is so much stronger. And with Shin surviving in the Buu saga of this timeline, Beerus survives too, which has a huge ripple effect. I might cover this eventually later on, since I know I'm kind of skimming through this timeline, but I do want to focus on the main timeline. It is important to cover this arc at least so you guys know why it didn't happen there. Or at least why it's prevented, because it still does happen, to an extent at least. So, now we can go to the Tournament of Power in the main timeline. And just like the Universe 6 tournament, it's pretty easy to select a team here. Vegeta, Goku, Gohan, Trunks, Granola, Goten, Nappa, Raditz, and Krillin. That's the team we have here, and they're listed in order from strongest to weakest. Vegeta even does consider recruiting Bra because she does start fighting at some point, but the other Hybrid Saiyans are a much better choice still, and they already have a good enough team. And this just shows that they have more than enough people. They still didn't recruit the other humans either, even though Ten and Yamcha would be really great picks here. Goku doesn't even consider reviving someone too, and even if he did, he wouldn't even think of Frieza because Frieza wasn't that powerful when they fought. They wouldn't think of Cell either because again, they stopped him before he got too dangerous. Hell, Vegeta says they could even find Tarble. They still never sought out his younger brother, which Vegeta still kind of does want to do at some point, but not right now because from what Raditz and Nappa say, he's probably not that great of a fighter. He was probably sent away for being too soft and weak, so he wouldn't really be too much of a help here. And this is the team they got, but just out of curiosity, they do ask Whis, can he find any other Saiyans out there? You know, like Tarble? At least so they'll know his location later. So, Whis looks into his staff, trying to seek out any surviving Saiyans in Universe 7. And surprisingly enough, he finds 3. Wait, 3? They know Tarble's out there, but that doesn't make sense. What, did Tarble have like 2 kids or something? No, Whis says there's actually 2 more that are completely separate from Tarble, on some random planet. And this kind of concerns Granola to hear. Could there be more bad Saiyans out there? Whis says he's not entirely sure. But through this, he's able to actually find the location of Tarble, and those other 2 Saiyans that are out there too. Now those 3 aren't going to be part of the tournament, but it's good to know for later on. Vegeta does want to still seek out his brother, but now there's another question. Who are those other 2 Saiyans out there? Apparently they're named Broly and Paragus. Strange, but again, something for later. They gotta focus on the tournament for now. It isn't too surprising though. All of these Saiyans survived, and even Turles was out there at one point too, so it makes sense for others to be out there. So they prep themselves from the tournament, and there's a few things that they need to do for this. They come up with strategies and such, and there's another thing. The actual tournament itself starts, and right away they're off to a great start. Obviously Goku and Vegeta are fine, same for Gohan and Trunks. Those 2 actually work with Super Saiyan 3, with Goten utilizing Super Saiyan 2 on his own, trying to reach Super Saiyan 3 himself. With Gohan and Trunks spending so much time on Earth, they wanted to master Super Saiyan 3. They never got those godly powers, but they actually figured out a way to use this form efficiently, which is great for them, and it's great for the tournament. As for Granola, he acts as a sniper for Universe 7, quickly eliminating other fighters in the ring, being able to hide and attack covertly. And by now he's probably even unlocked that double red-eyed form. He's even stronger than before, and he didn't need a wish for the power either. He's just been working for it, seeing how great hard work can be for obtaining power. As for Raditz and Nappa though, they kinda do get some power granted to them, because the other thing that they did before the tournament, it was the Super Saiyan God ritual. Raditz and Nappa kept asking for it, so they ended up doing it. And now, these 2 have their own godly forms, which is very helpful for this tournament, and is going to be great later on when they want to spar with Vegeta and Goku. Speaking of Goku, he does want to fight Jiren alone, showing off Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken against him. With Vegeta jumping in, using the same power, although Vegeta's Kaioken is a little bit weaker because Goku is a little bit better with Kaioken still. Although Vegeta makes up for it by being stronger with Blue. So there's a Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken duo fighting together against Jiren. Oh my god, I forgot how long that name is. Funny because it's not even the longest name for some sort of power. Besides the point though, Goku and Vegeta actually do pretty well against Jiren, and the 2 continuously fight, trying to use everything that they can against him. They push themselves to their absolute limit, and it seems like Jiren's not even taking it seriously. Of course, Jiren is able to defeat them, but the 2 keep getting back up. But the 2 won't stop fighting. They won't be deterred. And Goku's concerned about Vegeta. He's getting pretty badly beat up, continuously being knocked down by Jiren and getting back up. And at one point, it seems like he's knocked down for good, and with Goku trying to hold off Jiren on his own, he continues facing him, losing power, and then he feels an explosive aura behind him, feeling a powerful gust of wind as someone dashes past him, directly landing a hit on Jiren. It's Vegeta, surrounded by a strange aura, with his hair just being black like normal. He has no clue what Vegeta's doing, but his power's definitely changed. Although Goku does have one idea. He does watch Vegeta utilize this power, but he can't focus too much on it. Instead, he's going to take this as an opportunity. Vegeta's somehow holding off Jiren now, and according to the gods, it's apparently some amazing power. He stands on top of a large pillar nearby, lifting his hands up in the air. He's going to use this attack again, the Spirit Bomb. He focuses on charging energy, getting a lot from his team, with even Vegeta surprisingly lifting his hand up at one point, almost as if it's automatic. Goku's curious about what that power is, but he still does need to focus on the fight. What is Vegeta doing? What's Ultra Instinct? And why are the gods freaking out about it? And Jiren notices Goku charging an attack, but he lets him do it anyways. Besides, he's preoccupied with Vegeta now. Even though Jiren's still not taking it seriously, while he's suppressed, he does actually need to fight against Vegeta. Although, this power's fleeting, Vegeta does eventually lose it against Jiren, dropping back into his base form, and he's almost eliminated by Jiren but looks up, seeing a bright light illuminating the ring. Goku's Spirit Bomb is finished. With it being incredibly powerful, thanks to the team having a ton of energy to lend, Goku flings it at Jiren, and this Spirit Bomb is actually a little bit stronger than the one they had normally. Jiren actually does struggle a bit to push it back, and Vegeta barely gets out of the way in time, having lost a lot of power from using Ultra Instinct. But Jiren's able to ward the bomb off, pushing it right back at Goku, with him falling into the Spirit Bomb. And Vegeta can't believe it. Did he just die from that? He fell into his own attack. There's no way he could survive that Spirit Bomb. but then he senses a familiar power. Everyone thinks Goku died from it, but Vegeta has some sort of hope. In the crater where the spirit bomb exploded, he sees that same aura that he just had, and Goku rises up out of the crater, looking exactly like Vegeta did a few moments ago. All the gods can't believe what they're witnessing, and even Jiren's a bit confused. So he has that same power as Vegeta, huh? Vegeta looks on in complete disbelief as Goku stares down Jiren, and this is where we'll leave off for now. What do you guys think about this part? And what's going to happen next time? I think this is the first time in a while where I've left off on a cliffhanger in the middle of the tournament of power. But that's because I actually have a lot to cover in this tournament, so we're saving that for the next part. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps with the channel and shows me you want to see more videos like this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.